Who are you when you win? Who are you when you lose? There's a lot to be said about a person's character by the way they handle winning. And it's lovely to win. It's easy to be happy and smiling and celebrate and have a great time when you win. But can you be obnoxious? Can you be rude? Can you be disrespectful? And I'm sure you've seen that, where the person you competed against, you couldn't have won if they weren't there. And I've seen lots of people in competition who are really rude to the person they beat, or they are just obnoxiously jumping around like a crazy person, but the other person has lost. So how do you react in that situation? And it's a really good question, because the way we respond or react as adults obviously teaches our kids how they should respond or react. Now, I'm not a parent, so I've got to be very careful when I talk about my living and breathing example for other people's children, but I want to be a great person for other people's children. So yes, I love to win. In fact, I'll rephrase that. I hate losing. I hate it. But what I hate more is the reputation I would get if I was an obnoxious winner. So respect is a really big word when it comes to competition, obviously. If you don't respect yourself, if you don't respect your competition, if you don't respect the environment you're in while you're competing, obviously that says a lot about you. So I want to be the person who is respectful of those three things. I want to be respectful of myself, which means I would train really hard. I would be disciplined, committed and focused to be the very best I can be on competition day, because that would be disrespectful, wouldn't it? If you arrive at competition, you haven't trained your hardest, you haven't put in your biggest, best effort to compete against other people. But if you do then have the pleasure of winning, wouldn't it be nice to be respectful of? And there's three people there. There's yourself. So yes, isn't it great that I won? But respectful of your competition, because if they weren't there, you wouldn't have won. I'll share that again. And then what about the judges, the referees, the umpires, the crowd, the cleaning people at this facility that you're at? Everybody is involved in making an event happen, and you couldn't have won if the event wasn't on. So wouldn't it be nice to thank everybody, and not just a perfunctory, yeah, thanks very much everyone, but to go and make a personal thank you to the judges, to the referees, to the people who put in time and effort to make you a winner. What about your parents, your family, the people who support you, the crowd? Wouldn't it be nice to have a personal thank you? And I'll just use this as a personal thing that I find absolutely gorgeous of elite athletes. I love the athletes that stay back after their event and sign autographs and have selfies taken and spend a lot of time with their fans. Because world champions, true champions, understand that they couldn't be a champion if it wasn't for the crowd, if it wasn't for their supporters. So that's all about winning. What about losing? How do you handle losing? And I'm sure you've heard the expression, what a bad loser. And we've seen them, haven't we? The people that throw things, they spit the dummy, they swear, they carry on, they get really disappointed because they didn't win, so they take it out on the judges, the referees, the crowd, their competitor. Well, here's a really interesting thing, and this is very personal to me. I'm in my husband's martial arts club in the South Island of New Zealand, and he's a world champion martial artist in judo, in kickboxing and in taekwondo. He's a 6th degree black belt in taekwondo, and I always love saying that. He's got 6 degrees of black. Now, you don't become that kind of world champion if you're not really good at what you do. But if you have a look at his, and we've got, the last count was over 50 gold medals in world championships in taekwondo. There's also silver medals and there's bronze medals. But the interesting thing is he's been to a lot of competitions, world championship competitions, where he didn't win any medals. None. He came home with nothing. And it's a really interesting thing to watch somebody who trains really hard, they're really disciplined, they're really committed and they're really focused. How do they handle losing? And we have a great expression at our home, and this is something that we also love sharing at the Martial Arts Club, is there is no winning or losing, there's winning and learning. But you also learn a lot from how you win. But what and who you are when you lose is a really interesting thing to take note of. And what I've never seen my gorgeous husband do is he's never got angry at the crowd, he's never got angry at the judges, he's never spat the dummy, he's never been grumpy. He just shakes hands with his competitor, thanks them for competing. And there's been many times when he has been the winner, It's obvious, even by the crowd's reaction, that he was the winner. He should have won that fight. He should have won that pattern. He should have won that competition. But he didn't. And we always have a giggle, because if you go to, and this is the classic, if you go to Russia and compete against a Russian and there's Russian judges, it's very unlikely you're going to win. If you go to Argentina, which is a big taekwondo country, and you compete against an Argentinian in the final and there's Argentinian judges, it's very unlikely that you're going to win. You are not going to go home with a gold medal from that event. And if you do, it's very surprising. So it's beautiful to watch people who, when they don't win, they are still respectful, they're kind, they treat everybody, and this is probably the most important question. Shouldn't we be the same whether we win or lose? Shouldn't we always be respectful? Shouldn't we always be a disciplined, focused, committed person who treats everybody beautifully, whether we win or we lose? And it's interesting because in this great martial arts club, we've had many competitions, we've had many gradings. The parents come, the families come, the supporters come, the martial artists are here competing against each other. And it's really interesting to see who is a good winner and who's a good loser. And obviously at this club, the Dragon's Code is the most important thing, which is make sure that you are disciplined in every area of your life, be respectful in every area of your life, have a positive attitude in every area of your life, be grateful for everything that is in your life, be honest with yourself and all the people around you about how good you are and how much better you need to get to win, have a never give up spirit. That's what Dragon stands for. And that's what we live and breathe here. But you can't talk about what you believe, you have to be it, you have to live it. Which is why the Dragon's Code for us is not just a set of words. We don't just say it. And there's lots of people who can repeat the Dragon's Code, but it's not about knowing it, it's about living it. And that's the beautiful thing about my gorgeous husband. In this martial arts club, in every area of his life, he has to be representative of the code that is part of our martial arts club. So I'm going to share it again. If you are disciplined, if you are respectful, if you have a positive attitude, if you're grateful for everything in your life, if you're totally honest with yourself and all the people in your life, if you have a never give up spirit, is it possible that whether you win or lose, you'll always be a winner? Because winners are the people who in every area of their life, they are kind and respectful and a beautiful person, whether they win or lose. So it's a great question to ask yourself. Who am I when I win? Who am I when I lose? And should they be the same? Live your life to the max. Yeah.